show by Adam Ingram from the Youngstown Phantoms. Adam, how you doing?
Pretty good. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Obviously, we're here to talk about you heading into the draft and your hockey and all that. But before we get into that, I was reading an article not too long ago. You're a bit of a golfer, hey?
I am, yes. I love to golf.
Yeah, and so it's true that you finished fifth in the Junior Manitoba Championship in 2018?
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
Yeah, so how did you kind of get into the golf world?
So my dad is a golf coach.
Mhm.
So he coaches a couple guys on the PGA Tour, and then he coaches the men's Canadian national team for the pros and amateurs. So growing up, he's always been trying to get me into golf, and I've always golfed growing up. So it's just something that I've been doing besides hockey in my free time.
Well, that's probably a pretty good person to learn from then. Hey, I know my dad. He likes to think he's good at golf. I don't think he's that good at all. Maybe that's rubbed off on me quite a bit. So, was it a bit of a tough decision for you? Was there ever like a path where it's like, okay, should I go to golf or should I go to hockey?
I feel like I've always liked hockey a little bit more. Like I love golf, but I love hockey like way more, a little bit more than golf for sure, way more. Yeah, I've always like I grew up playing hockey, like being from Canada. It's just something everyone does, and I fell in love with it when I was super young, and hopefully that'll continue throughout my hockey career.
Yeah, I know. I live out in Edmonton, and it's I'm sure being out in Manitoba too, it's pretty difficult to golf 12 months of the year up here in Canada. So,
Yeah.
was as someone who's played like two sports, like you said, you like to play golf pretty often. Do you think it's important as when you were growing up to kind of get away from the rink a little bit and kind of just go on the course and not think about hockey that much?
Yeah, yeah, I've always like sometimes I just like to get away from the rink and just play nine or play 18, stuff like that. So yeah, I think that is important. Yeah, just like in your summer, like I got home probably 2 weeks ago, and I have a simulator in my garage, so I've been in there quite a bit.
Oh, that's pretty handy then. So I guess let's get into the hockey now. So you're in your second year of junior hockey. You moved down to the US to play for the Youngstown Phantoms, but you played a brief time in Selkirk, right? For in the Manitoba Junior League. Only eight
Yeah.
games, obviously pretty affected by COVID, I would assume. Like, what was your experience like playing there and your brief experience just of junior hockey right there?
Yeah, well, yeah, COVID obviously shut our season down. So only 8 games, which isn't very ideal. So, yeah, I mean, I was close enough to Selkirk that I could just live at home. It was 20 minutes away, and I
Mhm.
could go to my same school. So, it worked out really well for me. I'd go to school in the morning, and then I'd drive over to the rink, and then after that, I'd be done for the day. So it worked out great for me while it lasted, but um, yeah, unfortunately, it got shut down pretty quickly.
Yeah, so was the initial plan always to go to the Manitoba League, or was it kind of to go there one year and then make the jump, or did you want to go to the USHL, but COVID got in the way of that?
Yeah, last year my plan was to play in the MJHL.
Mhm.
So obviously, like this year, like with the COVID, I wasn't sure like how the season was going to go. So I was just like, let's try and go down to the USHL.
Mhm.
Um, and I mean, it worked out pretty well.
Yeah, no kidding. You led the team there with 55 points. So I was also reading in another article, you were kind of split between going to the NCAA and WHL, right?
A little bit
A little
more
bit.
when I was younger, but um, I'd say in the past 2 years I've been way more into the NCAA for sure, and I couldn't have been more happy with my decision to take that route.
Yeah, so what kind of led into that decision? Because I know in Canada, like the WHL, especially in Western Canada, is pretty prominent in a lot of top end junior guys. That's the way they want to go. But did you just feel like the NCAA was going to be better for you development wise?
Yeah, I feel like for me it was the best option. I grew pretty late, um, so it gives me a little bit more time, and it also gives me an education, which is something that's important to me. So I definitely feel like I made the right decision there.
I want to dive into the USHL thing a little bit more, but before that, was there a moment where you had a bit of a realization where you were like, okay, like hockey could be a legit career path for me?
Yeah, I mean, coming into the season this year, I wasn't really too sure what to expect, but after I got off to a good start, I was just like I can do this. So
Hmm.
it's kind of just that the belief in myself, and I have a lot of it. So
What was the biggest difference going down to the USHL? Like you said, like you're only 20 minutes away from Selkirk when you were back in Manitoba, and now you're moving down to Youngstown. Like it's not exactly a 20-minute drive anymore, is
yeah,
it? Like, how did you find that adjustment of just moving away from home? And do you think it affected you at all playing and like time to adjust?
yeah. I mean, moving away from home is like it's the first time I've done it, so it was obviously quite a bit different. I actually thought I adjusted pretty well. My adult parents there were really great. I love them a lot. They were great for all three of us that stayed there, so they helped out a lot. And yeah, I feel like it was a little bit of adjustment, but it wasn't too major.
Hmm. So you're committed to St. Cloud State, which is a phenomenal NCAA program to try and get into. How did that come about, and was there a lot of interest in you at the time? And I guess have you visited St. Cloud? I suppose. Like I know
Yeah,
COVID's kind of interfered, right? Like how'd you find the campus and that kind of stuff?
yeah, it's really nice. Great setup for their rink and their facilities. So I'm really excited to get out there this fall.
Yeah. So your plan is to go there this next season, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So what are you looking forward to most about playing in the NCAA?
Mostly I think it's just gonna be like the next level pretty much for me. Like the speed and the skill and the smarts and the physicality, all that stuff will be obviously a little bit higher, and that's something I'm really excited about, and new competition as well.
Hmm. So I want to throw it back like quite a bit here. So in 2013, you played in the Brick Tournament in Edmonton, and I guess for anyone listening to this, the Brick Tournament is a very high-end tournament. I believe you 11, 12, right? Is that how old the tournament is? Something around there, right?
I think it might be 9 or 10.
Oh, really? Even younger? Okay. So for anyone who hasn't listened, yeah, it's like a very high-end tournament. Like a lot of drafted players, soon to be drafted players, go and play in like Kirby Doc, Jack Hughes has played, and you played in it too. Like obviously you were really young. Like, how was it? Kind of, did you even realize like the players, the talent level in the tournament? I guess at the time.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like going to that, like being that young, it was like something that was like super exciting for me. Like being on the junior Jets, like Winnipeg
Yeah.
Jets, stuff like that. So that kind of got all of us excited that we're playing on the team, and yeah, it was a great experience. And I mean, if I went back and looked at the rosters from that year I played in, I bet you there's uh, lots of guys that are still really good at hockey, and uh,
Mhm.
possibly drafted last year or this year.
Yeah, I know. I was looking at the team. One of the players you played was Carson Lambos. Of course, was a first-round pick to
Yeah.
the Minnesota Wild. He's a great player. How did you enjoy West Edmonton Mall? Did you get to experience that place? It's quite a unique mall, I guess. Hey.
Yeah, the hockey rink in the middle is pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty Canadian. Um, yeah, I haven't been to Edmonton since then, but from what I remember, I enjoyed them all.
Yeah. So the Nation Network is the company I work for, and one of the branches is Oilers Nation. And of course, you played with Shane LaChance this year. What
Yeah.
was it like? He was an Oilers draft pick, seventh round. What kind of player is he, and how did you? Has he helped you at all with the draft process after he went through it last year?
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously like a great player, and obviously a great guy as well. One of my best friends on the team. Um, I sat beside him in the locker room as well. So yeah, if I had any questions, I'm sure he'd be there and he'd help me out with those. So yeah,
Yeah. Okay. I got one more question for you that I like to ask everyone. As you build up to the draft and the day comes, and what are you just most looking forward to?
um, pretty much like I 2 years ago, if you would have asked me that, like I probably would have said you're lying to me that I was gonna have an opportunity to get drafted. Um, so I'm pretty much just like it's all my hard work paying off and all the hours that I put in that no one sees, and I just want to continue to do that.
Mhm. All right. Well, best of luck to you in that. I'm sure everything will go great for you. And thanks a lot for taking the time with me.